The Nation of Yahweh presents The Unfolding Light. Today's show is brought to you by Builders of the Highway Foundation, Yahweh Life Center, Neo Jazz School of Music, Yahweh Education Centers, and the Temple of Brothers and Sisters of Goodwill. And now for your host, Dr. Lud Yisrael.
Boker Tov and Shabbat Shalom, and welcome to the Nation of Yahweh's weekly teleconference, The Unfolding Light. I am your host, Dr. Lud, along with my co-host, Sister Tamar. Boker Tov, sister.
Boker Tov, Shabbat Shalom, family.
Well, praise Yahweh. It's a great day to know Yahweh. It's a great day to be in Yahweh. It's a great day to know that your Father loves you and will protect you for your goodness. Today on Unfolding Light, we'll have Who is Yahweh by the Most Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Directly after that, we'll have a keynote message from the Master Teacher, the founder of the Nation of Yahweh. And directly after that, we'll have the part where we all take part in unfolding the light, and we call that Power Talk. Praise Yahweh. And now for our prayer. If we will all stand and face the east with outstretched hands, O Yahweh, God of our salvation, save us, gather us together, and deliver us from this heathen, so that we may give thanks to thy holy name and glory in thy praises. Blessed be the holy name of Yahweh and Yisrael forever. O Yahweh, let them be confounded that persecute us, but let not us be confounded. Let our enemies be dismayed, but let not us be dismayed. Bring upon our enemies the day of evil, and destroy them with double destruction. O Yahweh, forgive our fathers for breaking your laws, and please forgive us for breaking your laws. Help us to never bring shame upon thy great name, nor reproach against thy works. For surely we have turned ourselves to thee, O Yahweh, trying to be upright. And as we confess our faults, please grant us protection against all of our faults. Cleanse us of our secret faults and guide us to the best of morals. For surely our prayers and our sacrifices, our lives and our deaths are all for thee, O Yahweh. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Vashemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Elekon Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh.
Remember that this is the morning of the third day, and I shall rise again. I am the resurrection. All of prophecy tells you that I shall rise again. It's all about that. Luke chapter 2, verse 34. No doubt about it. Again, I love you forever, bless you forever. I remind you once again, my associates are children of the light. That just brings laughter to my heart, to my soul, to realize that at last, I have those of you that love peace. And I only want to be in the presence of those of you that love peace. I love you forever. Shalom Aleichem.
Praise Yahweh. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is a name that you should know because it's the duty of the Son of God to proclaim his Father's name. And here you have a whole bunch of people going to church, 400,000 churches, and they don't know the name of the Father. They say such silly things like, Father, God, help me. Both of them titles. Father is a title, God is a title. Who's going to answer to that? The purpose of the coming of the Son is to reveal the name of the Father. That's who he prayed to, our Father, and he called his name. He said, hallowed be, holy be thy name. How can it be holy to you and you don't know it? Interesting, isn't it? There are a lot more interesting questions than that about that situation. But when you begin to read your Bible, as I call this to your attention, you will discover from the Old Testament of Genesis all the way through Revelations, it's all about the name of the Father. It's all about his name. But somebody got you calling some other kind of name, other than the Father's name. And you don't know his name. And unless you learn his name, then you're never going to move from poverty to riches. And if you don't come into the knowledge of the name. Haven't you ever wondered why it is that you have the same God, have the same churches, and the same names that white people have? I mean, have you noticed? You do. Our people have the same, right? Isn't it strange how God always answers white people's prayers? And black folks' prayers don't seem to be the same magnitude. You know, you say, well, I get my prayers answered. Well, why don't you ever get answered to be the ruler? I mean, you know, my people are always on their knees in front of white people asking white people to let them be accepted. Why do you need to ask white people for acceptance? Why don't you just ask God? Doesn't your God have enough power to make you accepted? Why can't you be the people that everybody else wants to be among? Why are you always running after somebody else to be among them? What's wrong with your God? Why do you have to go around always on your knees with your hat in your hand begging for a job from white people? Why don't your God just give you some jobs? Oh, I have to ask you some serious questions because white people move from poverty to riches every day. Huh? They come from Russia. They come from Europe. They come from England. They come from all over the world with nothing on the ship. Come and get in your neighborhood. Come with a buggy and a basket and a wagon and push it around in your neighborhood and move from poverty to riches out of your pocket. You live in the neighborhood and stay poor and just pray all the time. You prayed enough to rule all the world. So who is Yahweh? Yahweh is the God of the Bible. He's the God of the Hebrews. In the beginning, Yahweh created the heavens and the earth. Yahweh is the man that beat up on Pharaoh. Y'all remember how he put plagues in Egypt? That was Yahweh did that. Yahweh is the one that when Pharaoh got real sassy, he drowned him in the Red Sea. That's Yahweh who did it. Yahweh is the man that when Daniel refused to bow down to another nation and quit facing the east and praying, when he refused to stop praying to his God, which was Yahweh, they said, well, we're going to put you in the lion's den and starve them. Threw him in the lion's den. Yahweh locked the jaws of the lion. Lions could do him no harm. Rulers got scared. Came and got Daniel out and made him a ruler. Right? I just want you to know who Yahweh is. He made the sun, the moon, and the stars, all what you see and haven't seen. Okay. So who is Yahweh ben Yahweh? I am his son. I am his son. That's who I am. I am the son of Yahweh. I don't care who else is the son or who else it makes me no difference. I'm not here tonight concerning myself with who is the son of who. I'm the son of Yahweh. I have to tell you who I am. Yahweh is my father. I am his son. What makes me his son? What makes me Yahweh's son is I do not have a will outside of his. I have no thoughts, no ideas, and no program outside of Yahweh. You'll find that all that I ever do, all that I've ever done, and all that I'm ever going to do is found right in the Bible, and it's traced right to his will. No exception. I take no credit for all that I have built. It's all in his name. Yuhe-Wafe. That's one of the things that make me his son. Also, I have no difference in his word. I only speak his words. Even the words I've spoken to you thus far, the principles of those words are all in the Bible. Every single one of them is found in the Bible. No exceptions. So I walk as he says walk. I talk as he says talk. I act as he says act. I do whatever he says do. I have no idea of doing it any other way. Those are the things that makes me his son. I obey his laws, his statutes, his judgments, his commandments. That's why I'm successful. He said in his holy word that if I obey his laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments, that he would make everything, all the works of my hand would prosper. So all the works of my hands, it's prospering. I'm telling you why. Now, what about you? You might say, well, if you're the son of Yahweh, can I be? Of course you can. Of course you can be the sons of Yahweh. Every one of you can be. Every one of you can be the daughters of Yahweh. All you have to do is like I do. Obey his will, just like I do. You automatically become. You believe on his name, then you have eternal life. There's no other name under heaven that you can be saved in other than God who created it. You can't be saved in no name but the name of the one who created everything. And he gave his son a name higher than all the angels in heaven. What's the name higher than all the names that the angels could possibly have? The Father's name. There can be no name higher than the Creator's. So the Son has to come in his Father's name. Just like if your name is Davis, then your father was named Davis. Your name is Smith, your father's name was Smith. My name is Yahweh, so my father's name is Yahweh. That's logical.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh. I certainly like to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for coming to us and teaching us who is Yahweh as no one else ever could do. Praise Yahweh. Also, I want to thank the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh for teaching us our true history, which used to be the world's best kept secret. Praise Yahweh. And now a brief bio on the master teacher, the founder of the nation of Yahweh, the most honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Yahweh Ben Yahweh came to Miami, Florida alone in 1979 to become the spiritual leader and founder of the nation of Yahweh. Although he took a vow of poverty that same year, within 7 years he guided the nation and those who followed his teachings and principles to amass an economic empire in the greater Miami area and throughout the United States worth over $250 million. Under his direction, the nation of Yahweh has grown to encompass disciples, followers, believers, and supporters in thousands of cities across the United States of America and indeed throughout the four corners of the earth. The University of Yahweh, for which he has established the curriculum and for which he has received great acclaim in educational excellence, currently has locations across the United States. The moral teachings of Yahweh Ben Yahweh is bringing about a change in the lives of individuals and causing them to take a different approach to life. This approach is based on the scripture which reads, "It is more blessed to give than to receive." Yahweh Ben Yahweh continues to give. That which he is given cannot be measured in monetary wealth. Yahweh Ben Yahweh is giving the world the keys to success in life politically, educationally, economically, socially, and spiritually. And now, it gives me great pleasure to introduce the Grand Master of the Celestial Lodge, the architect of the universe, the blessed and only potentate, the founder of the nation of Yahweh. Ladies and gentlemen, the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
I'm building my kingdom with you who voluntarily receive me. Behold, I stand at your door and I knock. Some of you are sitting back in there, got your door all locked up, hollering out, who is it? I don't mind telling you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh. And I'm calling out and saying, there's a terrible storm, it's a severe storm headed your way. And it's called the fall of Satan. And this is the time of Jacob's trouble. I'm here to qualify all who want to live in this great city to be able to do so. All who want to live in Holy Jerusalem. See, this was fine long as you could read it in a book, go to church, and everybody holler and scream and shout and go and give your offering and go home. I mean, this is fine. Talk all about heaven if you want to. And the deceivers have everybody in church believing when they die, they go into heaven. The reason he can get away with that is the preacher doesn't teach you that heaven is coming down to the earth. Huh? Oh, you didn't know that? Yeah, honey, yeah. Yeah, read 2 Timothy 2:15 first. Read.
Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth.
Okay, you got to study. Now let's go back to Revelation 21, and I'm going to show you that any preacher that told you that your grandma and your mama is in heaven lied. Because heaven ain't yet. It's not yet. Where you're going to live with Yahweh exists, but you're not going there unless you're generous. You're not going to live in it unless you're generous. Now let's go to Revelation chapter 21 and verse 1. Read.
And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea.
Now, what's beautiful about this is the replacement value. All that you think is heaven is going to pass away. Now you know what you think heaven is. Big bank account, big house, the car of your dream, your own private bar with every kind of liquor that your friends drink. So when they come in, you can show off. Huh? I mean, what would you like to drink, bruh? What's your flavor? Big time, you know what I mean? Bunch of bedrooms. I mean, you probably been fantasizing about that $100 million that was up there in Pennsylvania. You probably couldn't sleep for nights. Trying to just, boy, if I had those numbers, boy, what I could do for Yahweh. Some of you thought about praying and taking a flight. That's all right. Some of you thought about riding the bike up there. Thought that would be all right too. Some of you thought about you'd hitchhike. But see, none of that's all right. You know, heaven, yacht, private jet. You know what I mean? Servants, Don't have to work no more. Just big time money. I mean, money will solve every problem you have on this earth. Yeah, you think like that in this world. But all of what you think this heaven is on its way out. What kind of heaven is coming? It says a new earth. But see, that means what? See, you don't get to leave the earth while it's made over. He didn't say that. It just says what you think it is getting ready to pass away. And I can assure you, you won't be leaving. And when it gets cleaned up, you're going to have to help clean it. Yeah, you that's left to live in it, you'll be glad to clean the earth up and let's have some clear water again and clean air, healthy land again. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. But see, you have to get rid of the old mind and take on a new mind to go along with this new earth and this new heaven. And your mind has to be a perfect mind so that we'll have a perfect earth. See, heaven is perfect. So the only people that are going to really want to live in heaven and make the sacrifices necessary to live in heaven are generous people. Now this word generosity comes from the word I shared with you last week. What? Charity. Generosity is a synonym of charity. You have to be charitable. Huh? What verse? Colossians 3:14. It's all in the book. That's it. Can't get around it. Read.
And above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness.
I told you. What is a bond? That's what holds you together. That's why we're coming together in unity. We exhibit the only unity among black folk in America. And our love may not be perfect, but I'm teaching you perfect love. I'm teaching you how to love perfectly. So you haven't known how. And me telling you is not enough. You'll never be perfect in your love with me telling you. I have to show you how. And you've never known how. So my message is alien to this world's knowledge. My message tonight is strange to this world's thinking. And you have to be a special kind of person to be attracted to what I'm teaching tonight. Because after all, this is a very precious revelation. And it's not meant for everybody. This message is meant for the servants of Yahweh. Those who want to be the servants. That's who this message is for tonight. Now you who don't want to be the servants of Yahweh, we'll get you on the backside. See, don't worry, I got a place for you. You may not like the place I have for you, but I still got one. See, I have a lot of different places for people. I have a lot of different positions for people. Sometimes sometimes I try people in the kingdom of Yahweh, I try people out in different positions, and I notice some people say, I'll do anything for Yahweh until I give them certain positions. Then I find out that I have to let them see they didn't mean what they said. I know from the beginning that when people talk, they don't always know what they're saying. But I endure it anyway. I let them say it, and they think they're fooling me, and I give them a position. And they didn't mean anything for Yahweh. Because see, anything is big. You know, sometimes anything is all-encompassing. Some people say, whatever. And then I give them whatever. And then they act like they don't like whatever. Sometimes I give people a job that they say they like. And then they come back to me later and start saying, well, I really didn't know what I was saying. I thought I liked that. So then I have mercy and I switch them off. What else do you think you like? And if they name it, I'll give them that too. Because see, I'm building a kingdom. In the kingdom is every kind of job that you can think of. I mean, there's no limit to your jobs. I have a job for everybody on the planet Earth. In all the galaxies, I have a job for everybody. Intergalactic jobs. But right now, I'm really looking for those who want the job of being a servant of Yahweh. Because they predicate what heaven is to become. It is with the servants of Yahweh that I will establish.
Know and rest your mind assured. Our eyes have seen his works before. And until my last days, 'tis Yahweh I will praise. Yahweh.
Yahweh. Wow. What a message. Such a good message we had to play it back. Yahweh being Yahweh said we had to get rid of the old mind. That's the first thing, how you move or prepare yourself to move into New Jerusalem, which is a place, it's heaven on earth. But the reality of it is that everybody won't qualify and everybody don't want to qualify. There's a whole lot to unravel, to unwind, to unfold today in this message. So let's go ahead to our commercial breaks, and when we get back, we will unfold the light and power talk. Praise Yahweh. Shalom Aleichem family. This YouTube channel needs your help. As you know, good works in this world will never be monetized. So I'm asking that the supporters, followers, true believers, and disciples of Yahweh to help this channel to continue to publish the good works and the fame of the Most High, Yahweh. Praise Yahweh. How much do you love Yahweh? Put your money where your heart is and be blessed. And now, your video.
What do all these people have in common besides a beautiful smile, healthy teeth, and gums? They all use Zadi toothpaste. Zadi toothpaste is made with all natural ingredients. Zadi toothpaste is fortified with moringa and baking soda. Zodi toothpaste is suds-free, making it an excellent choice for kids. All natural, fortified, and suds-free. Get yours today at noystore.com.
Praise unto Yahweh, and Yahweh be Yahweh. From the nation of Yahweh,
YahwehRadio.com. YahwehRadio.com.
step on into
YahwehRadio.com.
Let nobody
turn me away from Yahweh.
YahwehRadio.com.
Yahweh ben Yahweh is a great God and a great King above
YahwehRadio.com.
Neo Jazz School of Music, creating space for young people to express and to grow. Now with 2 locations, New Orleans and Miami. Enroll today at neojazz.org.
Yahweh Virtual University has completed its beta phase. We are so thankful to Yahweh for all of our supporters because we could not have done it without you. We are excited to say that our beta phase was a true success. Those that participated in our beta testing enjoyed self-paced and interactive learning online, live online classes with our YVU teachers, assistance with structuring and setting up their homeschool. Our students had so much fun learning with their classmates, and they enjoyed daily homework and so much more. During our beta phase, we gathered useful information and feedback from all of you. According to the needs of our children and our nation as a whole, we received a large amount of requests for online learning to support children between the ages of 8 and 15, as well as online classes for parents and adults. We at Yahweh Virtual University heard you loud and clear. In order to provide these much needed requests, and because we are a small team, we have paused our online classes for now and are back in our building phase. Again, we are truly thankful to all of our supporters, and we want you to know that we are taking this duty to rescue our future very seriously. Please visit our website for more updates and be blessed. Praise Yahweh forever.
Hope that everybody patronize all of the businesses and all of the works, children of Yahweh, working diligently to rescue our future and to do what Yahweh commands us to do. And the first commandment was to dress and keep the earth. That's what Adam's job was, to dress and keep the earth. But of course, Adam was put to sleep and we suffered this great death. But here it is again now, Yahweh, as he promised, came and resurrected us and redeemed us. Now we must prepare to do the same thing, dress and keep the earth. We got to clean up after this wicked one is destroyed. He only has, the sucker only has 6 days. Only 6 days. There's been 6 short days of Satan's rule. His rule is over. He can't hide anything he does. Anybody with any logical sense can see right through Satan and his deceptions. He's just going to tell you that you're assigned agenda at birth. Somebody here on this side of the womb assign you agenda, and he expect you to believe that. Like somebody else made the choice other than Yahweh, what your child is going to be. Then, you know, he also tells you all kinds of things that just not true. A man can have a baby. And you supposed to submit to that. Yes, indeed, a man can have a baby. No, in no form or fashion can a man have a baby. A woman dressed like a man can have a baby. But that's not the point. The point is all of that has a short shelf life. I mean, very, very short. There's no preservatives in that. That's going out instantly. Just as quick as it came in the last few years, it's going out over the next few years, and it'll be gone. And there will be no power vacuum because Yahweh has raised up the Godhead, and we all over waiting to clean up the earth after this wickedness. We already starting to do that. We're coming together. We're assembling ourselves together. We're returning to the principles of Yahweh in feeding ourselves and providing for ourselves and taking our talent and pooling those with other talents, that's interconnecting talents, so that we can build communities. That's what's going on. Buying farmland, growing our own food, distributing our own food, having our own cooperative grocery stores. That's what's happening right now. And we don't have to worry about, well, how are we going to be protected? How are we going to protect our communities if the world is going crazy and Satan is going out? Well, Yahweh has always protected us. Yahweh ben Yahweh talked about how all the other nations who came against us are gone. Even the Roman Empire is gone. You know, that city of Rome over there in the Vatican. It's just a religion. It's reduced to a religion. Satan had to go back to just deceiving you. He can't conquer you. He had to deceive you.
And that's the thing, is what we think.
That's about the message, how he said it's all about what we think heaven is. We think heaven is in the Pope. We think the Pope is the Holy Father. Then that's you get what you manifest what you think. To you, he's God. And all of those in that religion, all those who bow down to religions, bow down to a philosophy outside of Yahweh. Yahweh didn't create the religions.
Yes, indeed. And I'm so grateful that Yahweh being Yahweh came, giving us this message today and every day.
Every day.
But, really, when we recognize this processing that he gave us to do this work for us to gain and ascertain the information, 2 Timothy 2:15, that's the first step in this process. Get ourselves where we can understand and be able to think. Yahweh being Yahweh understood that there was a great deal of deception that took place, that was going to take place. A great deal of deception. And so getting ourselves in a position where we're able to think is critical. And so when you look at 2 Timothy 2:15, which reads, "Study to show thyself approved unto Yahweh, a workman that needeth not to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word of truth." That's a process.
Right. So you got to study so you can rightly divide the truth from all of the lies. See, we're dealing with the tree of good and evil. They'll tell you some good, but it's definitely just to hide the evil. But Yahweh being Yahweh is the tree of life. And as you study, you find your way to the tree of life, and you eat from only the tree of life. You don't eat from that tree of good and evil. You know that good, there's some evil right there behind it or around it, or it's hiding evil. The good is shrouding the evil where you can't see the evil. So that's what studying and changing our mindset,
It does.
putting on that new mind.
And when you look into the word, think study will cause you to look into these concepts so that you can actually understand what happened to you, then what you need to do to fix the problem. So when you look at this word study, we understand we need to dig into think. Think tells us it is a process in our how we are that causes us to remember. It causes us to imagine. It's what gives us our insight. It's what our foundation is. So it's all of the things that we use to actually make decisions with, the way we live our lives. Think is such a real critical part of us being and existing. And the devil understood that and reshaped the way we think.
Right. He gave us the concept of heaven. And we think heaven involves things like, a yacht and a big mansion and a fully stocked bar. That would be heaven to some people, but you can tell that the inferior mind is the one who instituted that mindset as far as those common mundane things. And you equate that to being heaven, just things, just like a big house. You got a big house, it's you by yourself. You got a 10-bedroom home, but you don't have no family. That sounds like a waste to me, but you think, oh, that's heaven. I got to have heaven. I have to have the expensive cars or the luxury cars and stuff like that. And there's nothing wrong with a big house or luxury car, but that's not heaven. Don't equate those things to being heaven. First thing heaven is a mindset.
Well, in this message, Yahweh being Yahweh told us that those who live in heaven, they must be charitable.
You can't go there without being generous.
You can't go there without being generous. So if you get into this concept and these precepts that are given to you about
getting
things, acquiring things, And for what reason or purpose, I mean, we have to, answer that question for ourselves. But our reality is Yahweh ben Yahweh came demonstrating a lifestyle that is worthy of being in heaven, right? And what we've been experiencing here on this side, under the rulership of the ones who are against Yahweh, we've been living a lifestyle that's not worthy of heaven. We have to admit it to ourselves. The ways we think, the way we buy food, the way we purchase homes, the way we raise our children, the way we even drive our cars sometimes.
Well,
we so full of hell.
we create hell everywhere we go and everything we do, because that's all we've been taught all our lives, until the most honorable Yahweh ben Yahweh came and put us on the path of righteousness, to self-discovery and transformation, because he said we have to get rid of the old mind. That old mind, everything in that old mind has to go. You can't pick and choose what stayed from the old mind. Just this morning I was looking at a documentary that was showing you how they taught you how to think about fossils. That's completely absurd. That's just like they told you how to think about time. That's completely absurd. It's the year 2023. That's absurd. From the time that our brother Yeshua lived, it's been 2023 years from when they executed him. What kind of time is that? And so before that, it was going the opposite direction. What? That's absurd, but we take hold of that time, and we have no alternative way of thinking until Yahweh sent forth his son. And he came here and he taught us that there is an alternative way of thinking. You don't have to think like the devil. You don't have to think like Satan has taught you with, his fossil records and stuff like that. That's all false. That's all made up. All of it is made up. Just about everything you know about everything that you learn in school, in his schools, is all land of make-believe. You might as well be in a fairy tale.
Yes, sir. And then the reality of it is, once you wake up to what life is supposed to be, in accordance to what you were created for, given to you by the wisdom of your creator, not the enemy of your creator, then you understand that if you're those who were chosen to be in holy Jerusalem, you will be the ones who set the tone for what happens there. Right. Yahweh ben Yahweh said they are the ones who will predicate what heaven becomes.
So if you one of them people who drive down the street and went to a fast food restaurant and you ate all your food and then you throw your trash out the window as you drive down the street, odds are you won't be in New Jerusalem.
And then
that type of mindset.
And it even goes further to those type of mindsets that's fracking oil and all of these places, these leaders that are making decisions on the planet right now,
right?
Extracting resources. It goes from the smallest one who is throwing trash out the window, to the great leaders of today, the so-called great leaders that
Satan's angels.
Exactly. Exactly. And so the reality of what we're facing, all those systems must go away.
Absolutely.
And what needs to happen is the onset of a new system. A new system of rule, a new system of existing.
And it's not even a new system.
It's
the original system that Yahweh instituted on the planet before he put Adam to sleep.
So when you look at this word predicate, it reads as a noun, one of the two main parts of a sentence containing the verb and any of its objects, modifiers, or other completions, and generally expressing an action, state, or condition. So we're gonna actually set the actions, state, and conditions of heaven.
We've been commanded to do that.
Further, as a verb, the word predicate means to found or derive, base, to proclaim, declare, affirm, assert.
Mm.
Let me say that one more time. As a verb, predicate means to found or derive, set the base for, to proclaim, declare, affirm, and assert. So the servants of Yahweh will predicate, will proclaim, declare, found, and affirm what heaven is, new heaven.
So we really have a specific job to do. And the majority of that job happens within your studies and understanding. Once you gain that, then you have to work. You have to go to work. You have to pool resources, and that's like paying tithes and supporting the Yahweh Nation Building Institute, supporting the BUILT program, the grant program that we give young startups or businesses that need help, that's been around, that needs help. We give them a little boost to help them stay in business so that they can serve who? Us, the children of Yahweh. This is what these programs is, to create that virtuous circle, so where we can protect everybody in the circle from all of what's going on outside that circle.
Yes, sir.
And see, that circle spreads all over the planet. That's why the earth is a sphere.
Mhm.
And that circle spreads all over the planet and encompasses the whole planet. That's what we have to do. We got to start that circle. And it begins at home with our own people, with ourselves, becoming virtuous and protecting ourselves and providing for everybody in that circle. As that circle spreads out, it becomes that barrier of protection that Yahweh gives us against all the wickedness that are dying off, killing themselves. You hearing about the Hebrew awakening, the so-called Africans are coming together and they're kicking the colonizers and the colonial powers that have raped and robbed the planet, especially the resources of Africa forever, pretty much.
And let me
It's
tell
changing.
you,
The world is changing instantly.
once the children of Yahweh, those who are chosen to create and set the tone for heaven, wake up to their reality and do that work, Yahweh has already prepared those who will come.
Already.
He's already prepared them. Being able to go and see where people are thinking and the way Yahweh is shaping the minds of other people and other nations has been just an absolute honor to me. And just Yahweh is showing people how they need to cooperate, and they're asking for some people to stand up against this oppression. They're asking for a new way of thinking. They're looking for Yahweh's children. Look at what happened in Alabama.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's just
the Battle of Alabama.
People are making a great deal of humor about it. But the reality of it is people are no longer willing to take that old mindset as their way of being.
Right.
They want something new. They're looking for a righteous way of living. They're looking
for something, an alternative way of life.
Exactly. Because when we really understand what happened to us in this world and the way we're living our lives, how we get our food, how we buy our homes, how we take care of our families, all these things, someone set the tone for that, and it's not a righteous tone.
Well, satanic institutions, they said, why would they sell you a house over 30 years? And then in that 30-year period, any moment you can lose or take that house for missing a few payments, and it's like, where did that come from? Who thought of these wicked systems that only oppress and enslave the marginal and the poor people, who only poor because of the conditions of their education and the conditions that they have been relegated through by all of this governmental programs, from the black codes, from the Jim Crow, from the urban renewal, from the red line. I mean, we can go on and talk about the governmental programs that keep you from achieving any type of success or wealth period. Can you have a wealthy slave? Only way you have a wealthy slave is if you make him utterly wicked and will do anything you tell him to do to keep their heaven, their millions of dollars or whatever, to keep that heaven. They'll do anything they told to do, and we know how that goes. We don't even have to go through the industries that promote Satan for money.
Yeah.
Are you a Satanist? No. Then why are you doing all these Satan rituals on TV? Because they pay me, like actors. Actors.
And even some of them are saying we don't want to do that anymore.
They coming out saying we don't want to do that no
so
more.
There's a shift in the thoughts and the minds of people, family. And this is what we're lifting out in today's Power Talk, that once you wake up to the reality that you were chosen to co-create New Jerusalem, you're going to get up off your feet and you're going to do the work. No one else is going to tell you what to do about it because it's going to be automatic for you.
That's right.
Yahweh has put it in you to do this work. And you wake up to that reality, nothing can stop you from getting it done.
Well, you see the rewards of Satan's world. And if your mindset is still stuck in that old mindset where, I got to have money and money is going to make me everything all right in my life. And so you go after the money. Satan, you can make millions of dollars. I mean, literally the highest paid YouTuber is some dude who put on stupid, random, nothing videos. But because that's what everybody wants to see, he makes millions of dollars. Then you have the alternative where somebody put on a message of goodness. And of course, that's good. We don't want to promote good, but the people who love good have to support it so it can continue. They don't support good, then next thing you know, you're like, what happened to all that good that I was able to access? It's gone because you didn't support it. The wicked ain't gonna support it. That's just how it goes. So we have to support the things that we're doing. We have to come together and pool our resources in the right places. We are a people who have been standing on all the resources to build heaven because we didn't know how to use those resources.
And the reality of it is
sitting down on them resources.
This can be accomplished if you buy a plot of land in your state, Alabama, if you buy a plot of land in your state, Georgia, if you buy a plot of land in your state, Mississippi, and I'm just naming these states because they're growing states, and you're in there growing, we can cooperate
with each other
to manage these cooperative farms to support and meet the needs of our families. There are ways to govern ourselves to set up these systems.
That's right.
Yahweh has given us a way, family. So we want to encourage you. It is now time for Power Talk for you to join in on this conversation.
Absolutely. And what the conversation is all about is us building, the nation of Yahweh, building the heaven, providing for ourselves. We don't really necessarily need Satan for anything. The resources belong to Yahweh. The ones that Satan think are his, they belong to Yahweh. Like Sister Tamar was saying, you buy a plot of land, you start a farm, you have product. Hey, I start a distribution company and now I move your products all over the world with my business. And so now we got two intertwined businesses that somebody provide, the products and somebody provide the distribution.
Well, just, speaking from a landscape of how cooperatives work, what that could look like is each one of those farmers can be member owners of the distribution company.
Absolutely, that's co-ops.
What you do is you come together to set up your shared marketing co-op so that you can reach a larger audience in all those states. So what that is leveraging the three markets together under one. So whatever your product is that you're growing in that area,
right,
it may be different from the one that you're growing in another area, and so on. And so what you do is you have a variety of products under one umbrella.
Right.
For example, Ocean Spray. Ocean Spray is one such cooperative marketing organization. They are a cooperative of growers in a number of places, but they come together under this one umbrella to put all their products out to a number of people.
And they are a very huge and successful cooperative. You wouldn't even know that they're a cooperative.
Another example is True Value Hardware. They are a number of suppliers, a variety of resources. Now imagine trying to buy all the things that you see in a hardware store as one person. But if you have a collective of people that have these products or access, they put them together under one marketing storefront, the hardware store, and move their products.
And they got all that information from just watching how we deal with life. Back in the day, we always cooperated and took care of each other. We do have a call.
We do have a caller. I saw a caller with their line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. It's Sister Edna out of Laura, Mississippi. Is that me?
Yes, ma'am. That is you. Boker Tov. Shabbat Shalom, sister.
Boker Tov. Shabbat Shalom. I just wanted to say, I'm listening to you talk about a plot of land. Yahweh is ahead of us. Yahweh is ahead of us on the land, because he's causing these stones to wipe our whole towns. And these towns that's being wiped out, they're not moving back to him. And he fixing it where you have the water already ran, the water, electricity, and gas already ran. Well, you'll be able to go in and buy a whole town. That's one of the purpose of us doing our 10%, saving our 10. So when that time comes, you can purchase it with no problem, or come together and purchase it. And I was looking at you, I was talking about study. And I said, wait a minute, study. And I'm looking at the letters of study. That's duties. Duties. The word study is duty unscrambled. Praise Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, and thank you for allowing me to share.
Wow. Praise Yahweh. We thank Yahweh for you sharing. And he putting that in you to share. Toda Yahweh.
When you think about that, wow.
Your duty.
The whole duty of man is to fear Yahweh and keep his commandments, and you have to learn his commandments.
Now, what's amazing about what our sister has just proposed is that in, my studies, I'm learning that models like the townships can be pulled together in land trust.
We can buy towns in a land trust.
And what that does is it creates an affordable way for people to own houses on that property, where there's a collective of people owning the land. You put a lock on that land for so many years, I think like 100 years or something like that, 99 to 100 years. And what people are able to build, the houses are at a discounted rate because you're building the home and you're paying for the cost of building the home and not the land, because there's agreements in place for those who live there to occupy the land. So it's ways this can be done, family. There are things that people are doing across the globe to take back their power.
And I always say, these things are not out of our reach. We have men and women who have done, brothers and sisters who got free from slavery and started towns. Now, how did they do that? Where did the education come? Where did the money come from? Where did the financing come from them to come from slavery to building a town, building a city, building a community? Well, it's out of necessity. People went and did those things, and they had cooperatives. You can't build a city single-handedly. You have to have some help.
And it was always, along the lines of the same formula. The formula would be that you have a product or a good or a service that you're able to provide, and you use that product to generate wealth. and you go create collective marketplaces where you're actually doing those selling those products on a mass level, then you're able to go and buy and create and own land and build these cities. Well, they use those shared marketplaces to own those cities and bring in all the necessary goods and services to meet their collective needs. So those who are skilled at this, and this is what Yahweh is telling us, we got to be able to think.
And we got to bring those skills together, you know, say like, for example, building an average house requires a number of different skill sets. You need an electrician, you need a plumber, you need a concrete foundation man, you need a framer, you need a drywall finisher, you need a roofer, so many different things, all to come together and cooperate to build just a house. And think about all the other industries. It just takes men that knows aspects of it, men and women coming together and putting those aspects of it together, and boom, you have that company, you have that thing. It's just a small process, but we do have another caller.
We do have a caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, this is Sister Edna again.
Shalom, sis.
Here's land. In looking for land, always look for land that has a pond, creek, or river. And when it comes to farming, so you will have access to water, but that water of that pond, lane, creek, and river is a fertilizer for your farming, for your garden. It's a free fertilizer. Thank you for allowing me to share.
Also, and don't forget the well, being able to dig
the well. Yes, have it. Yes, yes. But now they have it. Now you could buy that big old what you call them? It's a big old tank.
Yep.
Where when it rains, it could rain the water. You could use the rainwater.
Absolutely, they call them cisterns.
It's called what?
A cistern.
Yeah, a cistern. Thank you, Brother Lou, because we had one growing up. Thank you, Brother Lou.
Yes, ma'am. Well,
Praise Yahweh.
All those things, because why do we need to buy water when our Father has created water? Why do we need to purchase water from somebody when it falls out of the sky?
Again, this whole conversation, we talking about both the technical and the spiritual things. The spiritual things is having the mindset to know that it's unrighteous for you to have to buy the necessity for you of life, water. And the physical is actually acquiring the land so that you're able to own it.
That's right. We do have another caller.
We do have a call with the line unmuted. Boca Tov, and welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, welcome to Power Talk.
Praise Yuhei Wafe, Bateman Sophie, Yuhei Wafe. This is Abigail Raquel. Blessed to be in the presence of the Holy Family this morning and to hear the conversation about cooperative economics. I'm so, encouraged because we can look at the macro and let us consider also the micro of intentional communities. We need urban locations as well as farmland. We need places of refreshing that are plentiful, and you can grow crops like trees, fruit trees, but we also need places that are in inner cities where we can have access to other amenities. I give thanks because we're headed in a direction that speaks strongly to something that is truly being done around the world. Intentional communities is not a new concept. It's all the way back in Genesis. Praise Yahweh and Toda for the opportunity to share.
Praise Yahweh.
Thank Yahweh for
yes, indeed.
You sharing and giving you the wisdom to share, because that's exactly all the way back to Genesis. Intentional communities.
The Garden of Eden was the first such intentional community. It was divinely created for your existence. It was divinely created for you to live.
Eternal existence.
Exactly. And that's the essence and the core of an intentional community. You lay out the infrastructure so that people can live.
And it's about people. It's not about corporations extracting resources from the community. It's about people enjoying life and being able to access all their needs in the community.
And that's exactly what cities do. We currently live in cities. I encourage people to go, our family to go and look up the history of cities. Most cities became incorporated at the turn of the Industrial Revolution, where the labor force was being pulled into a space to serve the industry in that space. So it's a real wicked system. And when we get into a space where we begin to think for ourselves and understand that charity begins at home. Home is where we are placing the name Yahweh. They adamantly keep out the name of Yahweh in our cities. We have to build intentional communities that are designed for us to serve and live for Yahweh. And that's us setting the tone for New Jerusalem. Praise Yahweh.
Absolutely. And transforming ourselves to qualify to live in New Jerusalem.
That's right.
Absolutely. And the work is really self-preservation. All other nations do the work of self-preservation. We the only group of people on the planet that do not do the work for self-preservation. But see, we say that, but so many of us all across the country are doing this work. We have I've recently attended certain gatherings of people who are co-op developers, and they seek to unify with other co-op developers to broaden the horizons of organizations of us doing this work, us, people of color, people look like us, doing this work. Now,
the global majority, as they want to newly term it.
and these people are not even aware of who they are, but yet they still doing the work and coming together to do it together and pool their resources together. And they don't even know the name.
They understand that they must remove themselves from the hands of the oppressor so that they are free to imagine and explore. And that's what people are looking for. Just being in a space around co-op, learning around co-ops is so resonant with what Yahweh Ben Yahweh has demonstrated with us. And the work he did, he physically shown us how we have to have the power of ownership. We have to be collective in our action, one God, one mind, one love, and one action. He's shown us how to pool our resources and actually build out what we need, whether it's a workplace or where we live. All these things are the very core elements of cooperatives. Cooperatives provide that same level of unity to accomplish and meet our needs. And the reality of it is, cooperatives exist to meet the needs of its members. The members are the people who own those businesses and those entities.
Absolutely. And that's Yahweh Ben Yahweh said in Who is Yahweh message, that if you want to be successful, we have to do what he did. And he created cooperative businesses that was owned by the people who ran the businesses, and who worked the businesses. That's how it goes. He was talking about how his graduates from Yahweh University were running a $5 million store. They all had departments and they all had their own businesses within those stores, like a regular grocery store. All those products are owned by different people who bring those products and set them in the store. It's like a big, huge consignment shop.
It's that shared marketplace that we spoke about earlier. And, as we see the old ways going down, like your big conglomerates. Right now, if you do just any research,
that's right.
You do any research, there's one giant that's eating up all the marketplace on terms of what you can eat. So when you think about that, Isn't it scary to think that one corporation
Can
control all your food?
And it's an evil, wicked corporation.
And
like the poison.
that you're subject to the people who are the decision makers of this corporation to do good for you. We do have a caller. Caller with your line unmuted. You are now live on Power Talk.
Welcome back.
Praise Yahweh. Don't you remember that the temple in the Tanakh was representative of the marketplace? It was to feed body and spirit and mind. And what sent it astray was mindset and lust and the love of money. Not the money, the love of money. So the mindset defiled the marketplace, the environment of exchange, and all that came from it could not produce thriving people. That's why he came to feed multitudes. So we are the seed of Yuhewape. Beit Nun Sophie Yuhewape. Today, in the land, we are imitating the Most High, coming from a higher mindset and reproducing a new marketplace, not a monopoly. Praise Yahweh.
Praise Yahweh.
Yahweh's in the house today.
Yes, indeed. Yes,
See,
indeed.
Yahweh has raised up his children to be astute and understand when we talking about these things, we talking about doing something. We're not just talking about it and then go sit down. We're doing it, but we do have another
caller with your line unmuted or previously unmuted. Brother Goodell, you are now live on Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to Power Talk.
Shabbat Shalom, family. Praise Yahweh.
I do it every time.
I know we laugh about it because we're like, we know what she's gonna say, but that's okay. This is Tioka Bed. Praise Yahweh, family. This is such a wonderful conversation. I just wanted us to realize when Sister Tamar, you mentioned about having resources, sometimes it's the smallest things that we have within ourselves, among ourselves, that we use on a regular basis that can produce larger things, larger resources. And I'm coming from the angle of how many of us will eat a melon or a watermelon or an apple and throw away the rinds, throw away the skin, instead of using those things to make compost and create our own soil. And the reason I'm speaking of this is because farmers, organic farmers has found that some things like mulch and even certain soils that they've purchased from these, Home Depot or wherever they purchase soil have been contaminated and have not helped in an organic garden. As a matter of fact, they put the mulch on their crops and it starts to kill. So the circle of life, family, is something we have to understand and stop being so wasteful and throwing away your resources and start using it to create your own mineral-rich soil right there in your home, your own compost. So these are the small, tiny microbes that we need to create our own delicious foods. So instead of throwing this away and having a bunch of trash and waste, start utilizing it and recomposting your waste. And guess what? Now you don't have to go to the store or to those big places to purchase soil because you have created your own soil. Believe it or not, just putting the seed in dirt where there's been a lot of grass and things, it's not going to produce the fruit. The plant may grow, but the fruit needs good, black, rich, nutrient-rich soil. So things like leaves, your leaves that come off of your trees can be used as mulch. So when we start thinking of really being productive, we have to use everything around us. Everything that Yahweh has provided is actually a beautiful resource for us to start being more self-sufficient, independent, and stop using the poisons, even to the minutest level. Thank you for letting me share, family. Love you all.
Praise Yahweh. We love you, sister.
And once again, I thank Yahweh for his children coming on and giving the information that is vital to our building the things that we are commanded to do. So if you want to do your duty and build what Yahweh ben Yahweh came to us and taught us how to build and do, then we all are pieces of a puzzle, and we have to bring those pieces together. And I'm just, I thank Yahweh every day for us to be able to come together and share this information and keep our minds focused on doing these things. We can't let our minds stray and wander. There's so many distractions in life right now, and just trying to live and make enough what they call ends meet.
Make ends
They
meet.
never meet. Ends don't meet. Okay, end is the end. There's nothing for it to meet.
And who want to meet their end? I don't want to meet my end.
So it's about building. Let's build. Let's get the resources that we need, pool those resources together with other like-minded people, and build our own intentional communities. And if you build a community, you can build a gated community right now to where the police don't even have jurisdiction in that gated community. They don't have jurisdiction. The community have jurisdiction over that. So you can actually keep those people out who would do you harm from your community if you built an intentional community.
In the process, we have to all be, we all can begin right now is developing that perfect mind. And what that means is the things that we've done that are according to the ways of the enemy of Yahweh, we clean up our minds and purge that. Because when you think about going into heaven, right? How you show up in heaven is absolutely critical. First things first, you may not get in there if you show up.
You won't get in there if you show up wrong.
That's right.
You won't even know where it's at.
So we have to get rid of the old mind and take on a new mind. You cannot exist in Holy Jerusalem, extracting all the resources and recreating one such incident from history, white people, the tragedy of the Commons. They had an intentional community, and unfortunately what ended up happening is greed settled into their hearts.
It's that mindset.
That mindset. These are examples now. They exist. There are stories and there are things that we can look at and not replicate those same processes.
Well, like our sister was saying, it was the mindset of the people who at the marketplace who destroyed the market.
Exactly.
The marketplace is supposed to be for the people. It's not for the greed of merchants.
That's right.
And see, I grow melons and I bring them to the marketplace. I didn't eat all the melons I can, and I brought the rest of the marketplace to, pretty much give away, just at a cost that would cover me bringing them to it and replanting them, just at a small, meager cost, because you're not trying to get rich off of serving your people, serving our people, Yahweh's people. We're trying to make all of us have all the resources we need. And then what is rich and wealthy got to do with it? We all are on that same level.
Praise Yahweh.
That's the intent of the community putting it together, so everybody could prosper in the community.
That's right. That goes back to Colossians 3:14, and above all these things, put on charity, which is the bond of perfectness. So we can achieve this through this charity, through this process of becoming charitable. So our work family, moving on and forevermore, it's always study, but let us study this word charity as a way to understand how we are to be inside of an intentional community.
Well, we're getting close to the end of this episode of Unfolding Lights. And one of the main things that I played this message for again this week is that I want everybody to understand the process. We have to become qualified to enter into New Jerusalem. This is the qualifying time now. If you want to sit back and learn nothing, don't study and enrich yourself or even take on a different skill so that you can be of use to Yahweh in building his communities that we're endeavoring to build right now. You know, we're not worried about Satan and his destruction because Yahweh is taking care of that for us. We're not even worried about us being protected because Yahweh is protecting us. Now, when we are righteous people, righteousness exalts a whole nation. We are a nation of people. And as we come together and pool our resources and build our own intentional community, yes, there will be some physical moving and shaking and getting together in certain areas, because that's how you build communities. But you need engineers, you need carpenters, you need cooks and chefs, and you need, well, you definitely want to eat. So, and you want to eat good because that's just how it is. So, as not to go on and ramble, family, Sister Tamar, do you have anything to add?
I'm just grateful to Yahweh to be in this space, in this conversation, and I'm encouraged to invite us to continue to grow and learn how to be charitable so we can bring on New Jerusalem. Praise Yahweh.
So, family, let's up our game on qualifying ourselves. It begins with the study. Show yourself approved. You got to know the truth. You got to rightly divide the truth from all of Satan's lies. You got to be able to see that stuff. And so that's the beginning steps of pooling our resources. And yeah, that's the final thought. That brings us to the end of this episode of The Unfolding Light. Please join us next week for another episode of The Unfolding Light. And now, if everybody will stand and face the east with outstretched hand, as we close out this episode with a prayer, the Lord's Prayer in Hebrew. Tefillah. Avenu Shabbat Shemayim, Yikadesh Shemeaka, Tavo Malkuteraka, Yad Zerizonka, Kim Bashemayim Kain Ba'aretz, Et Lekum Kukenu, Tain Lanu Hayom, Uslat Lanu, All Kartienu, Kimosa Sol King, Gamanatnu, Lakotiem Lanu, Veal Tevienu, Lade Nisayom, King Kal Senu, Min Hara, Kilaka, Hamamlaha, Veha Givera, Veha Tefieret, Leolame, Olamin Sila. We thank thee, O Yahweh, O living and eternal King, who has so mercifully restored our souls within us. So let everything that has breath praise Yahweh. And always remember, Yahweh loves you, Yahweh Ben Yahweh loves you, and so does the nation of Yahweh. Shabbat Shalom, family.
Thank you for joining The Unfolding Light, presented by the Nation of Yahweh. If you have any comments or questions, please email us at info@thenationofyhwh.com. Follow us online at thenationofyahweh.com, theunfoldinglight.com, and at yahwehbenyahweh.biz. Get social with us. Follow the Nation of Yahweh on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter. Also, do remember to pay Yahweh and yourselves first and don't touch it, as instructed by the Honorable Yahweh Ben Yahweh. You can send your tithes, donations, and offerings to the Nation of Yahweh at P.O. Box 555-115, Orlando, Florida 32855. And be blessed continually, according to Malachi chapter 3, verse 10. Praise Yahweh. Shalom, shalom.
Stop your crying. Stop your crying. It's gonna be alright. Stop your lying, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop worrying. Stop this worrying going on. It's gonna be alright, man. Cause you see, Yahweh Ben Yahweh is here now. Well, he's a man with a wonderful, wonderful life. You'll be praying all night long. Well, cause you see, you don't know if you're gonna get up in the morning now and lose your home. Well, cause you see, I got all these children going on, and I don't want them to starve. And that's why you got to go and bow down to somebody who ain't God. A man on your job. Well, yeah. The mighty God is here now. The Son. I'm talking about the Son, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh. So you can quit all this foolishness and going on, but we living in a brand new day. Well, stop your moaning. It's gonna be alright. Stop your groaning, children. It's gonna be alright. Stop your crying. You don't have to have no more kids. But you see, Yahweh, when Yahweh came, right about on this time, it's shortened our years. Well, stop your begging. It's time to do your part. And quit being lazy, my children. That it's time to stop. Stop doing what you want to do. Stop doing the things you're supposed to do. Get up off of your knees and be so good. Study real hard because he said you know you could. Well, be the way he wants you to be because he said he know you can. He want all the sisters to join together and be woman and all the brothers to be man. And I know that everything is gonna be alright. Well, early in the morning, it's gonna be alright. I wanna tell you that sometimes you get lonely in the evening time. Just call his name and it'll be alright.